Let's see.
Hello, my name is Walter Womack. I'm here today interviewing Senator Michelle Benson on behalf of Ex-Offenders Resource Network. We're going to talk about several issues here today as far as from prison to workforce issues. We'd like to start our topic with the issue on ban the box.
Yes, thank you, Walter, very much, and thank you for letting me be here. I did support Ban the Box because of some experiences that I had had in my personal life and in hiring. I know that when someone has served their time, reformed their lives, the box provided one more hurdle to successfully reintegrating into community. And having that barrier was just one thing we could easily move out of the way.
But the only issue I have with ban the box is still that you have companies that, even though you have ban the box, it really isn't effective when you have companies that do background checks. You know, so when they do a background check and they see that you're an ex-offender, then it's really irrelevant to that issue or to their job to even have ban the box.
Well, and I would disagree. I think companies have the right to do background checks on their employees, particularly child care centers and financial institutions. We want to know who we're dealing with as an employer and employee situation. However, by taking the box off the application form, it allows the employer the opportunity to look at someone's experience, to look at someone's qualifications, and then if they do a background check and find that the offense was 15 years ago and they've had a steady record of work, they can set that aside and still be fully informed as to who they're hiring and have that opportunity for the individual.
I know it's early in the stage of ban the box. Is there any statistics that show that this is really effective?
I have not seen any reports on the effectiveness of removing the box.
Okay. Well, I guess it's just time will tell. And I agree with you. I agree with you that, you know, sometimes something is better than nothing.
I think it's steps that we take and we build trust so that employers gain confidence in hiring someone who's had some stumbles in life, has been incarcerated, and has found their way out.
Next question here is that we want to know, how does the work opportunity tax credit fit in with ban the box?
I think that's just one more way to encourage an employer to take that second look. We remove the box so that employers get a chance to review work experience, skills that have been developed by that individual. And then if they get a tax credit, it will make them take yet another look and say, all right, I'm going to give this person a shot. They've served their time, they are serving their community, they have a good work history, and it's worth taking the chance.
Another question is that we researched the tax credit, and what we found is that a lot of employers are not even aware of the tax credit. And a lot of guys that interview for jobs, positions, they came back and said that they had to explain the tax credit to them. So I don't really think that it's getting out there to employers that that's there available to them
And
as an incentive.
I can tell you, Walter, and the audience, as a legislator, I wasn't aware of it until you brought it to me, but also as an employer, I wasn't aware of it until you pointed it out to me. So I think there could be some more outreach. I think there could be better effort by some of the advocacy communities, just like we're trying to do veterans hiring initiatives. We have to do outreach. We have to work a little bit harder in order to get the word out there. It's a valuable tool that employers can use to build a really strong workforce.
I agree with you. So I agree that there's still work to be done as far as communications and getting the word out to employers. And I wonder why that's not out there. I wonder why that's not really, you know, out front with the ban the box.
You know, I don't know, perhaps the people who were working in the Ban the Box campaign didn't think of linking the two. And so I think it's an opportunity to make the Ban the Box provisions even stronger.
How do you prepare for implementing this into ban the box? As far as when you go out and you speak about ban the box, how do you prepare for this? How do you intend to prepare?
Personal stories, I think, are the most powerful. I had a friend from church whose husband had committed a felony a long time ago, never told his kids, and every time he applied for a job, he had to go and explain that he was a stupid kid and he wasn't going to make those mistakes again, and would they please give him a chance. And it really touched me that he had worked so hard to rebuild his life, and yet every time he applied for a job, he had to explain. And so that's the primary reason I supported the provision, and I hope it bears much more fruit than just in his case.
And that's the story of a lot of ex-offenders' lives as far as employment history, that it never goes away. It seems like it's just like a death sentence to you. It's like once it's attached to you, it just never goes away.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we hope that by removing the check the box provisions, completing ban the box, employers will look through all the assets that an employee offers, and then balance that against what they had done perhaps in their youth. A lot of time has passed, and this person has built a good character, has built a good work history, and give them that chance. And I hope that the tax credit gives a little bit more of a nudge.
Next question, is the WOTC timeframe adequate for job seekers?
And I'm sorry, you're gonna have to help me out with what's the time frame. Do we know?
I'm not exactly sure what the time, I think the time frame is 1 year.
So if you hire someone within 1 year of being released, fulfilling their sentence, then you would qualify. I would say maybe longer than a year wouldn't be a bad idea. I understand the average is 18 months, so if we went to 18 months, I think that would be fairly reasonable. It also gives the person who has completed their sentence the opportunity to kind of get their legs under them a little bit, maybe work on a special skill instead of feeling this intense pressure to day one start looking for a job, because that could lead to a great deal of frustration. And so if they had just a little more time to complete and qualify, I think it might actually accelerate hiring.
And you're moving faster than I am. Because our next question was, are you aware of the average ex-offender's search for employment is 1.5 years, which is 18 months before they find employment?
I wasn't until you guys told me today, just like the tax credit, so I appreciate the education.
Okay, we'll just go on to the next question because we seem to answer that before I answer. Would the state of Minnesota stand behind an organization that can reduce recidivism and provide real work job skills for the 21st century workplace?
I think the citizens of Minnesota would, whether it gets a government grant or something like that, would have to go through the legislative process. But I think the direction that you want to move is something that most Minnesotans would be very supportive of working with. Most people that I know want to see people succeed and move up instead of being held down, tied to a particular program. Let's get them educated, get them working, and get them succeeding.
Okay, can we pause for a minute? Pause.
Okay, now I'm back. I'm speaking once again on the issue of ban the box, in which I discussed with Senator Jeff Hayden and also with Representative Raymond Dean of the Minnesota House of Representatives. We spoke at length about various topics on the ways in which the state of Minnesota is now joining a national movement, to rethink crime and punishment here in America. Over the last 3 decades, there have been some draconian sentences that have been handed down to hundreds of thousands of prisoners each year. And now, after 10, 15, 20 years, those prisoners are finally being set free. But they have nowhere to go. No job opportunities are available to them. So we spoke at length about what initiatives the state and the House of Representatives are undertaking to help these individuals rebuild their lives. Rebuilding their lives is what this is all about. Giving them a second chance, and as Senator Hayden said, a second, third, and even a fourth chance for those who have multiple felonies on their records. There's a proposal in place to speed up the expungement process for those with criminal records, to clear their records so they can get employed in a decent job. There's also a measure on the board by Representative Raymond Dean to make it so that prisoners are able to vote from the moment that they are released, instead of having to wait 3 or 4 years, or maybe until they're out for probation or supervised release. These things are something that can help a person get their lives back on track and become a healthy and productive member of society.